Delighted to welcome back on the show, coming off that wonderful performance. Obviously, the fight was a draw at UFC 205 in New York, and it is Mr. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who's coming off his Thanksgiving weekend. Stephen, first of all, how was Thanksgiving? Obviously, a bit of R&R with the family, etc.
Oh, man, it was great. You know, I mean, just hanging out, relaxing, eat whatever I want to eat, eating some weight, which is always a good thing. It was great, man. Just spending it with family, stayed at home, and just relax.
Definitely much deserved after that fight, and what an incredible fight it was. Now that the dust has settled, Stephen, you know, you've had 3 weeks to absorb what happened in the fight. How did you assess the performance? And I know you thought you won the fight. It was an incredible fight. Just your thoughts now looking back.
You know, it was definitely a war. Probably one of my hardest fights to date, man. Just against a very strong opponent. I mean, he was very physically strong. He was explosive. Walked through a lot of my shots. Definitely first round. Obviously, that was him. He ended up taking down. Once I was on the bottom, I could feel how strong he was. I was like, man, now I've got 205 guys that I train with fight at heavyweight, and they didn't feel as strong as this guy did. His base was just phenomenal. So you know, after that, I was like, man, I gotta stay away from this guy. I felt in the second and third round. Fourth round was obviously him, and I felt that I won the fifth round as well. But you know what? It is what it is. I learned a learning experience. I'm definitely going to come back stronger, better and stronger after.
How frustrated were you with the scorecards? You know, it was a mix up with Bruce
Buffer
and the commission as well.
I really wasn't. To be honest with you, I had no idea what was going on. But him, I thought it was. I thought I won 3 of the 2 rounds. Obviously, maybe one of them might have been a 10-8. As soon as he being the winner, Dana White looked at me and was like, hey, man, it's a draw. No, you stay right there. It's a draw. It's a draw. And so, I knew it was close. I didn't think it was going to be that, to be honest with you. But, it is what it is. I mean, he definitely won the first and the fourth round like crazy, and I won the last 3. Of course, the 10 made it an even draw. So, but the good thing is we're going to be able to do it again and put on another awesome performance, I believe.
Definitely.
That's what I'm excited for.
Definitely. I think everyone is. And, the Irish crowd gave you a great pop as well at the weigh-ins all week long. I want to get your thoughts on, you mentioned before to me in the fight, and it was something I thought when we were talking about the fight beforehand, that, Woodley wasn't as confident off the back foot. Were you surprised how good he was off the back foot when you were trying to put pressure on him?
Yeah, and one of the reasons why I was so hesitant, because I knew he likes to back up and tries to lure you in. Then he explodes back in with the right hand. So I knew exactly what he was going to do. To be very cautious, which is, I think I was too cautious. I was waiting for it too much and waiting to counter him. Of course, he was backing up. I should have took more advantage of that, using my kicks, obviously, and my angles. But, I knew that what he was trying to do. He was trying to lure me in, and then explode back in with the right hand. And, of course, it was funny because we went back and watched the fight in the third round, between the third and the fourth round. Of course, my coaches were like, dude, watch out for his right hand, and his coaches were like, land the right hand. So it's like, and he definitely did, landed it like twice. And I don't remember too much of the fourth round.
Yeah.
I remember just really actually being able to think when I was in that 10, I was like, man, this thing's tight. I'm just going to go out. I was literally thinking, all these people came to watch me fight. I'm not going to tap out. I'm just going to go out. And as soon as I thought that, I could feel his arms start loosening up. I was like, now's my chance. Ended up getting my head out, finished the last. But, yeah, man, it's hard.
That was incredible. I think, it was one of the real points everyone took out of the fight was your durability, because we've never seen you really in that position in your mixed martial arts career. You said it was on really, really tight. How did you keep in there? Was you said the doubts there, but do you think he's a little bit surprised at how durable and tough you were?
I think so, and I think now that's something that he's got mentally. He's got to think about, knowing that not just him but other opponents. If you step out there with me, and that's just how I've been since day one. I try and give it all I got. There's no giving up in me, and if you step out there with me, it's going to be rough. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's going to be tough. So now he's got to think about it. He knows when he step out there with me, it's going to be very hard to finish me. And
massive psychological advantage to you in the rematch?
Say that again?
Do you think that's a massive psychological advantage for you in the rematch?
think so. I mean, he knows that he's got to be on point, knows got to be in shape in order to step out there with me. That I can take his best punch, and other artists say he's fought, he's knocked him out with that punch, and he knows that I can take it. And of course, I don't want to get hit by it again, but he knows if it does happen, he's still in for a rough night.
I noticed something your dad said at the back, and it's obviously just heat of the moment. He said, when you were at the back of the room, you just come in, Tyron Woodley was up on the stage, and he'd mentioned Conor McGregor. He's obviously pushing, to try and get that big money fight with Conor. But your dad said, I think he goes, he's running already. He sort of muttered. Do you feel that way, that maybe Tyron's, run away from you after that fight?
No, I don't think so, to be honest with you. I think he's just looking for that next money thing. I mean, of course, I know there was some beef between Tyron and him during the whole UFC 205 event. But you know what? I think he knows that he's got unfinished business with me. He knows he's got unfinished business with me, and we can't leave it as a draw. We got to have a winner for this fight, and he knows he's fighting me next. So I really have no worries that we're going to be fighting each other. So it's going to happen, man. I know that he knows that he's not happy with the way it went down. I know he wants a win over me. That's just the way Tyron is. He's a champion. So, man, I'm just preparing myself mentally and physically for that next
fight. Yeah. Was there areas? I just want to ask you this before we get off the whole topic of that fight. Was there areas you felt you were a little bit disappointed in? Maybe you could have done things a little bit better?
Yeah, man. I mean, especially right off the bat, to see how he would react to some of the kicks I was going to throw. Yeah. Maybe a low kick, see if he would drop on hand or how to react to it. So it wasn't really meant for me to actually land hard. But dadgummit, if he didn't catch that dang leg and ended up me down. So why did I should have threw it harder, should have threw it faster. I actually should have landed better fake than the real thing. And I just made it too of a fake, didn't really try and hit him with it. Me. I was disappointed in my lack of aggressiveness. I knew he was going to back up, and I just didn't do anything about it. I was too cautious out there. I knew I could have done a whole lot better. Of course, my kicking abilities. I've been working really hard on my wrestling as well. Yeah. And didn't see a whole lot of that. I think a lot had to do with it because how light I was stepping out there in that octagon. I was 178 when I stepped out there, only 8 pounds heavier than what I weighed in at, and I didn't feel as strong as I normally do, and that's something I think that we're going to go back and we're going to work on, and that way I'm stronger out there.
What is that?
Is a bigger body for him.
Is that your nutritional diet, do you think, or is there something maybe in your strength and conditioning you need to do differently?
No, I think it's with my. I just since the Johnny Hendricks fight, I felt like I should walk around at 8. It does make the cut easier, but I felt fine out there cardio wise. I felt fine. In that 5th round, I was feeling really strong. But with an opponent like Tyron, he's explosive, very powerful athlete. I feel like I have to be a little bit bigger.
Was there any, it was a big week. The build-up was crazy. It was crazy back in Dublin. It was crazy in New York. Was there any jitters maybe going in because it was such a big event, such a big occasion? And I know, Chris was out there as well, who's your family now. And, Chris obviously lost that fight. Did that have any psychological play in your mind going into the fight?
No, I'm in the back. I'm trying not to watch the fight, but they have a TV right there in your room.
Yeah.
Everybody in the room, all of his coaches are watching. So you can't help when people scream to actually turn back and look and see what's happening. And of course, seeing that happen to Chris, it was devastating. I know he was the best shape of his life. He was so motivated in that fight. He was winning the fight.
Yeah, 2 rounds. I had him
the
from,
fight.
Yeah.
Scoring, getting some of the takedowns in, controlling the clinch position, and then that's what MMA. That's what makes you never know what's going to happen. And knee, and we were both pretty banged up. Of course, I felt it here, in my heart, man. I was like, man, dude, So, I mean, people think it affected me, but I know, I'm a professional. I know to keep my focus before I step out there. Of course, it definitely hurt me in the heart whenever that happened, but it didn't. I don't think it affected me to where I lost or it affected my my performance. I was ready before I stepped out there. It was just the fact that I was very hesitant, and I wasn't a big enough body to be able to handle his clinch positions. And but we know what we got to work on, and it's going to be a more exciting fight, I believe, next time we fight again. Another fight of the night right there. 100%.
Have the UFC, obviously you've been in contact with Dana, I'm presuming, and the matchmakers. Has there been any clarification that you're 100% going to get a rematch off the bat straight away?
From the looks of it, we are going to get it. The way Tyron, the way the UFC's talk, it's going to happen. I mean, directly after the fight, Dana White's already saying, I get the next shot. Like I said, we have unfinished business. We everybody knows that. And from looks on social media, everybody, that's the fight everybody wants to see. Of course, I know there were some guys that were in line next, and like Damian Maia, who man, it's got to really sting for him, and I feel that bad that it had to go this way. But I think after this next fight, he'll definitely get his shot. So just got to wait just a little bit longer.
That's it.
But as of right now, this is it, man. My management company's working really, going through negotiations and things. It's not a matter of it happening or of when it's happening, to be honest with you. Is it going to be happening late January? Because I know there were some fighters that had dropped out February or March. Of course, I was a little banged on my nose and my eyes. My eyes were pretty banged up. My feet were banged up. So just healing up right now, and slowly getting back into the gym. Did some working out over the holidays just to get the body flowing. I'm ready to step back out there, man, to be honest with you. And
back in New York, Brooklyn.
Ready UFC, for round 2, baby.
UFC 209, Brooklyn. Back in New York.
Oh, man, bro. Hey, that sounds good to me, man. I'd love to. I'd love it.
Let's do it. I'd love to see it there. You've added, I wouldn't say trash talk, but the last time you were on the show with us here, you responded to some of the comments Tyron Woodley made. You've been a bit more vocal than you've ever been. You think we're at a point now in mixed martial arts, to get the big fights, you have to be willing to exchange some war of the words, and you did that a little bit in the build up to that fight. Do you feel as though you might have to do it again to solidify this fight?
I think that I do, feel like there has to be a little bit of that, but I'm a very respectful guy, and I think there's ways that you can go about it. But as of right now, especially this next fight with Tyron, I think all the trash talking has been said. We both respect each other a whole lot more after that fight. I know he respects me a little bit more after that fight. He even said so after in the press conference. So I think just that fight alone promotes it. So there doesn't have to be any of that, I don't respect you, respect me type stuff. I think the fight promotes itself. Everybody loved it. I think everybody knew that that's all everybody could talk about after the UFC 205 fight was our fight. And everybody wants to see that again. So I think just that last fight promotes everything. I think it's already out there.
Do you think, and I have to ask you about this, you made comments to Damon Martin of Fox Sports, us being an Irish outlet over here. You said Conor McGregor would get ragdolled, in the welterweight division if he was to step up again. Conor's talked about that. He's relinquished his 145-pound belt a couple of days ago. Do you feel as though after fighting Tyron, especially, you don't think that the power would translate over for Conor? What were your thoughts?
That's the thing. Feeling some of the 170s in the division, especially somebody like Tyron, who's a very strong opponent, and it's just me thinking about the weight that Conor's coming up at. I just feel that the 170, especially somebody like Tyron, are maybe too strong. But I think that's I think the fans would love to see how Conor McGregor would do in the 170 division. It's just there, and I think people would definitely tune in to see that. But just as an athlete, about the sport, I just think the guys are too big for Conor McGregor. I know he walks around. Maybe I think the heaviest was 170.
170, yeah,
160, when he fought
168,
yeah. So, and unless he just can avoid the whole clinch positions altogether, I think he could do well. But there's such monster wrestlers in the 170 division. I think it would just be very difficult for him to happen. But you never know, man. You know what I mean? You never know.
And especially,
so I think.
Sorry for interrupting you. Especially after him relinquishing the 145-pound belt and what Conor's done. He said he wants to be a 3-weight world champion. Does that sort of maybe unsettle you, unnerve you that he might get that fight ahead of you? Because, you know, he's been calling a lot of the shots in the UFC for quite a while, that he might sort of edge you out of the way and look for that Tyron Woodley fight?
No, I don't think so. I know there was talk about it after the fight, and there was also him fighting, you know, Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are happening when it comes to Conor McGregor. You know what I mean? You know, he's changing the sport, and there's a lot of things going on with him. And I don't think he's going to get it next. Maybe after this, after we settle, maybe. But yeah, man, I know he's talking about not fighting again until, you know, after his baby's born and things like that. So there's no telling what's going to happen, man. He could get that fight. With Mayweather. You know, you could go to heavyweight. You never know, man.
You don't know
his way into anything. And of course, my hat's off to that guy, man. You know, I hear, just wasn't long ago he living out of his car, and for him to be one of the highest paid athletes, in the world is amazing, man. My hat's off to the guy. Respect to him, man. I'm happy for the guy, for real.
Definitely. Stephen, listen, I hope it's Brooklyn, because I'm going to be probably going back over for that card to cover that one. I'm sure you'd like to set the record straight in New York as well and win the title in New York. That's the one you're aiming for, yeah?
Oh, yeah, man. You know what? It doesn't matter where I face him. If it's in Vegas, if it's New York, if it's Brooklyn, whatever, man. We're just ready to step out there in the octagon and go for round 2, baby.
Definitely. Stephen, I really do appreciate the time as always. The guys can catch you on Twitter and social networks at Wonderboy MMA. Stephen Thompson, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you, and I'm looking forward to that rematch, my friend.
Thanks, brother. Have a good one. I appreciate it.